All right, another question from an advisor that we got. And this advisor said, that this is someone who's actually played around with decentralized finance or DeFi, said, I was in stablecoins a couple years ago when the yields were so high, when you can make double-digit yields holding stablecoins on some sort of decentralized finance protocol. And of course, the treasuries were paying 2%. You could get virtually nothing in a bank. And so that's where this guy was holding his stablecoins. But he said, now I see no purpose for the stablecoins. If I can't earn the yield, I see no purpose for holding them. So this is an interesting question that goes to yield and markets and how that works, but also adoption of crypto and stablecoins. So on the yield side, of course, the markets are going to correct themselves. People are going to move their money to where they can get the yield. And if they were getting yield and they were comfortable enough using DeFi a few years ago and they could get double-digit yield, they were doing that. Now, my assertion for that entire DeFi summer and for afterwards was the yield is not the use case. Getting more yield or getting more interest should not be the reason for DeFi to exist, or should not be the reason for people to use decentralized finance. Should not just be to get more interest because you were getting more interest because you were taking a greater risk. You were taking a tech risk. You were taking the risk that that protocol could get exploited. So that was not the good reason. And if you're the person that says, look, I'm going to go to wherever the yields are highest, of course, yeah, right now you'd go to something like treasuries, or you might go to some sort of money market account where you're going to be able to earn a higher interest than you will in DeFi. Now, the DeFi rates have come down because people have moved their money over to a risk-free rate. Why would I get 5 or 6% in decentralized finance when I have that tech risk when I can go into treasuries for 5%? So that's just a natural movement of the market, and it's healthy. The interesting part is we're seeing tokenized versions of treasuries. So those that don't have access to US bank or brokerage accounts like DAOs or people in other parts of the world that don't have the ability to up an account here are able to buy tokenized versions of treasuries. They want that risk-free rate from the US government as well. So there are companies that are tokenizing or buying treasuries and creating tokenized versions and selling them to DAOs that might have on-chain treasuries, or they're selling them to people elsewhere in the world who might be utilizing crypto or DeFi. So just because you're not getting those yields specifically in a DeFi protocol doesn't mean people are not using decentralized finance and blockchain technologies to get some more interest. So that's number one. Number two is the whole purpose of stablecoins is not to earn yield. The purpose of stablecoins is for you and I, for people to be able to transact value in something that is relatively stable value, not volatile crypto value, but relatively stable value anywhere in the world, anytime, without having to ask a bank's permission, get instant settlement, extreme transparency, all those things we like about blockchain technology. Stablecoins thus far have been the killer use case for crypto. When we go beyond the speculation and the trading that was the early days of crypto, but now it's stablecoin. It's the likes of Visa and PayPal and Shopify and all these companies going to stablecoins, or something that looks and feels a lot like a US dollar. That is the prime or the killer use case right now for crypto. For someone to say, well, I see no purpose in stablecoins because I can't earn the yield, that would be equivalent to saying I have no purpose in having dollars because I can't earn as much on my dollars for several years. You use your dollars to buy things, just like people are going to use their stablecoins to buy things. And what it means is the system eventually will increase the adoption of the utilization of stablecoins because we like the idea of instant settlement, because we like our fees being lower, because if I have a coffee shop that uses Visa to process my USDC on Solana, one, I get instant settlement. I get that money in my wallet immediately, and I probably pay a lot lower fees because it doesn't have to go through several banks as intermediaries. So the purpose of stablecoins is not necessarily to earn yield. The purpose of stablecoins is to take a lot of the fat out of the centralized financial system, and all of that will eventually be passed on to things like yields. It will eventually be passed on in terms of lower prices of items, hopefully, and that's what we want to see. And that's why the likes of Visa and PayPal and Shopify and all these companies are adopting stablecoins, because it is a more efficient way to transfer value, and most people in the world want to want to move value around in something that they know, which looks a lot like a dollar. And remember, there are places in the world, Argentina, Turkey, other places like that, where they have a rampant inflation. If we think we have bad inflation here, imagine having 100% inflation routinely. They would rather own something that looks and feels like a dollar, and so they want to own a stable coin because they can do so without asking their bank's permission. So the use cases for stable coins is far beyond, can I earn double-digit yield on holding stablecoins. A use cases for stablecoins is a discussion on the adoption of blockchain technology, which can likely flow into the valuation of crypto assets like ETH and SOL on top of the Ethereum and Solana blockchains.